Greetings, candidates, and welcome to the lesson. The subject is boardroom dynamics. In our today's lesson, we turn to chapter number 9, board diversity. In this chapter, we are expected to cover understanding diversity, types of diversity, influences of board diversity, promoting diversity within the board, measuring of diversity, areas of diversity, and diversity thinking. That's what we are expected to cover in the chapter board diversity. Board diversity. Now, candidates, we will begin first of all by defining board diversity. We define board diversity in our today's lesson. Then we'll explain the rationale for board diversity. In this lesson, we're going to do two things. By the end of this lesson, candidates, you should be able to define board diversity, number one. Then number two, you should be able to explain the rationale behind board diversity. So let's first define board diversity. Board diversity is the heterogeneous composition of the board. The heterogeneous composition of the board. It is heterogeneous composition of the board. There ought to be diversity of ideas, diversity which could be in terms of gender, in terms of age, in terms of gender. That means that the board should comprise of both the young and the old. Gender means it should have female and male on the board. The composition should also be a mix of nationalities, in terms of nationality. Composition should also be in terms of education, nationality, gender, experience, lifestyle experience, lifestyles, and so on. So board diversity, as the name suggests, diversity from the word diverse. We ought to have a mix of the members who are on the board from different ages, a mix of gender, different nationalities, people with different religion. You can add religion, including culture. All right? Religion, culture, and many other facets that make that makes the board members unique. So the key here is uniqueness. All right? A board should not just comprise of the old people or the young people only. No. A board should not have only the male gender or just the female gender. No. A good board is one that has a composition of diverse people from different backgrounds, having different experiences, having different religions, culture, and so on. And a well-performing board, candidates, a well-performing board needs diversity of knowledge, diversity of skills, diversity of perspectives. Skills, knowledge. For a board to perform well, there ought to be diversity in terms of culture, skills, knowledge, experience, perspectives, and all that. And it should be also be noted that just diversity for the sake of it does not necessarily improve governance. What matters is the combination of complementary talents and experiences of the board members. That will help the company, the board members, to steer the company towards success and long-term stability. So that's the meaning of board diversity. Board diversity is the heterogeneous composition of the board in terms of age, gender, nationality, education, experience, lifestyle, religion, culture, skills, knowledge, etc. Let's move on to our second item, rationale. Rationale for board diversity. What is the rationale for board diversity? For board diversity. What is the rationale for board diversity? Now, candidates, heterogeneous boards that have dissimilar opinions and approaches foster what we call critical thinking and creative problem solving. When you have diversity on the board, when you have a board that comprises of members with dissimilar opinions, with dissimilar approaches to solving problems, then that creates an atmosphere that enables the board members to think critically. That also helps or allows active monitoring. It may lead to, it may boost what we call strategic direction and many more. So let's discuss some of the other reasons. Rationale for board diversity, simply you answer in the question, why is it important that there is diversity on the board? Reasons for board diversity. The first one is innovation. Innovation and creative problem solving. And creative problem solving. Innovation and creative problem solving. Candidates, people from different backgrounds and with different life experiences are likely to approach similar problems in different ways. And more diverse groups foster creativity and also produce a greater range of perspectives to solutions of problems. When you have people on the board, when the board members come from various backgrounds, all right, different experiences, different skills, different education, then such a board is likely to approach a problem, one problem from various perspectives. And that creates an environment for innovation and creativity. That's why it's important to have board diversity, one reason. The second is acquiring talent. Acquiring talent, as well as employee relationships. Now, companies, candidates are facing what we call talent crunch that goes right up to the top. It goes up to the board level, talent crunch. And candidates hiring women, hiring minorities, and people from different parts of the world can increase the talent pool of corporate boards. So a diverse board facilitates policies and procedures that increase hiring and also improve the management of diverse employees. So generally, companies are facing a talent crunch, but a company that has a policy for diversity is a company that does not just look for employees from one area. No, because we are saying that heterogeneous composition of the board may include having different nationalities. This is a company that looks even globally to get its board members or even employees. So one rationale for board diversity is acquiring talent and employee relationships. The third rationale for board diversity, number 3, understanding business marketplace. Understanding business marketplace. Now, exposure of the organization to a wide variety of cultures, ideas, and also views at every level, including the board, is needed to meet the demands of the increasingly diverse employees, customers, and also clients. So a heterogeneous board will have a better understanding of the marketplace. Because if you have a board that comprises of different nationalities, for example, if is a board in Kenya that the members who sit on the board come from different continents, then if this company in Kenya wants to go global, then it can get knowledge or experiences or opinions or ideas from the members who sit on the board, because they bring in different experiences, they bring in information about different marketplaces, all right? If you have a board member from, say, Saudi Arabia, Kenyan company hired a board member from Saudi Arabia, and the company in Kenya would want to invest in Saudi Arabia. The board can draw knowledge and information from this board member who sits on the board in Kenya, if it wants to understand the business marketplace known as Saudi. So having a heterogeneous board will have a better understanding of the marketplace, will help increase sales performance and hence profitability. And together with a diverse employee base, the board will be able to customize products and also services to the specific needs of diverse communities. And it becomes even easier to penetrate new markets. So heterogeneity at the top of a company is believed to result in a narrow perspective, while diverse top managers take a broader view. All right? Homogeneity. If you have a board that does not have diversity, such a board is likely to have a narrow view or perspective. But a heterogeneous board, a diverse board, is more likely to have a broader view. And the result of diversity at the top is a better understanding of the complexities of the environment and the business marketplace. So that's why it's important to have diversity on the board. That will help the company understand the business marketplace. The fourth rationale for board diversity is what we call access to resources and networks. Access to resources and networks. access to resources and networks. Now, candidates, the primary responsibility of the board is to build external linkages and acquiring resources for the firm. And by selecting directors with different characteristics, firms may gain access to different resources. For example, directors with financial industry experience can help firms to gain access to specific investors. And directors with the political connections may help firms deal with the regulators or win government procurement contracts and so on. So those are resources. If a company has diversity on the board, if a company has board members from various backgrounds or connections, a company is likely to have access to resources and networks. I've cited 2 examples. If you have a director on the board who has financial industry experience, maybe he's worked at the Capital Markets Authority for long, he's been in that industry, financial services industry for long, such a director can help the company to gain access to specific investors because of his connections or networks. All right, networks. If you have, for example, a politician or on the board, a politician or a former politician on the board who has connections with the government, a director who has political connections, such a director can help the firm to deal with the regulators, or it can help the firm to win government procurement contracts. So that's one reason why it's important to have diversity on the board. Then number 5, reputation enhancer. Diversity enhances reputation. Why? Because including women or minorities, including people from different ethnicities, from different religions, or having different stakeholder representations on the board for, say, employees, for suppliers. If you have such people being represented on the board, then the firm will enhance its reputation as a responsible citizen, because they are viewed or perceived as companies that protect the interests of all stakeholders. If a company allows all the stakeholders to be represented at the board through the, say, board diversity policy, then that company will be viewed to be one that takes into account the interests of all stakeholders. And that by so doing, the company will gain respect in the eyes of the media, respect in the eyes of the government, respect in the eyes of the public at large. And candidates' diversity, it is argued, enhances the effectiveness of corporate leadership. So these are just 5. They are not the only reasons why board diversity is important. There are more other reasons why it's important to have a heterogeneous board. All right? Because while the rationale that I've explained today may provide, say, justification for board diversity, there could also be some arguments from a social perspective, what we call social arguments. Like, say, appointment of women, appointment of minorities, and people of different social levels on the boards. That in itself will be an affirmative action for social and economic advancement. So candidates, we've come to the end of today's lesson. In this lesson, we introduced the topic board diversity. We've defined board diversity as the heterogeneous composition of the board in terms of age, gender, nationality, education, experience, lifestyle, religion, culture, skills, knowledge, and so on. We've outlined or explained in today's lesson the rationale for board diversity. As we close, I'll give you an assignment. Number 1, define board diversity. Number 2, explain the rationale for board diversity. Thank you for attending today's lesson. We will proceed in our next session with the topic board diversity, and the subject is boardroom dynamics. Thank you. God bless you. Bye-bye.